All right, happy Thursday, everybody. It is February 1st, 2024, and tomorrow's Groundhog Day. It was a nice change in the weather pattern here in Ohio today. The sun came out. I don't think I've seen the sun in a month. Um, anyways, the market came back too a little bit. So we're at Precise Algorithm Trading, and we'll dive right in here to the automated trading systems. So this is the Dow futures, and we're still on a pullback. And we had these trades today. Today's the third. Sorry, today's the first. Three losers. So it's about time for a bounce. Yeah. Um, the Russell also on a little mini pullback here, and this is 2-1. So three losers and a winner. Also, I think due for a bounce. The Nasdaq got a little bit of a bounce today. I think it continued to downslide, and then it's starting to show the potential for a bounce. So at the end of the day, I'll show you what I'm talking about. These are the trades. Three losers and a winner, but look at that winner. That is the beginning of something hopefully positive. So, that's how these trades can lay out sometimes. That's that last bounce right there. So you can see a bunch of losers in a row, and then you get a bounce like that. So you can tell when you have a series of winners, with some losers in between, uh, there's going to be some great winners along the way up here. And we could look back at all that data, but we're really just looking forward and using back data and the math, really to lay how this thing is expected to work out. And that's it for the automated trading systems today. Um, dive into the markets themselves. So the S&P 500 today, this is this bounce I'm talking about, and that is a serious bounce. Came all the way back up and took back all of the losses from yesterday, and then some. So this is where I was talking about the uptrend is still in place. This the simple moving average. Sorry, that's a weighted moving average. The 30 period moving average is still up and green, and it had a little bump in it that turned red for a second. Basically, I don't know, a week and a half ago. But you got to stay basically nimble and bullish when that's happening like that. So we've come all the way back and had that bounce. We went from the underside of the two average true ranges on the hourly chart back up to the upside of the two hourly ranges, or two average true ranges. So now we did put in a lower low, but if we come in here and put it in a new higher high, then that's a negated issue. But some back and fill here before we really go up might make some sense, and that just a lot of gnashing of teeth here is probably what we're in for. So that's the S&P 500. The Nasdaq overnight is up 154 points. So we had the Nasdaq today was up 197 points, or 1.3%, but then the Nasdaq overnight is up 154 points. So there must be some earnings in play that are playing out all right, and I'd have to dig deeper, just a little deeper, to find out what that is. So let's look at. So this is the Dow today, and we had that bit of almost all of it taken back. and then add on what tonight looks like. It's going to take a second to flip back over again. So the futures actually look like they went beyond the end of the market day today, and we're making the candle for tomorrow. So that's mostly like in the after 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what made the rest of that candle happen that way. So that's interesting. The Russell today, this is the back and forth I'm talking about that I think we can expect on some other charts. So if you add this zigzag back and forth action and you go back to the S&P, a little bit more pullback here. You could just see it play out over here on the hourly, probably easier. We could just walk back and forth between the average true ranges. The Dow is still bullish and really not looking back very much. The transports, that might give us some insight. It looks an awful lot like the Russell 2000. So I think we have the real potential to. Well, I still think back and forth makes the most sense from here. So, and we looked at the Nasdaq, oil today. So oil broke down a little bit in the last few days, and if we get a close back up above the 30, then it is flat now, or maybe even down. It turned red. So, our stop is still going to have to be in place. And if we look at the USO, it's like this. Actually pulled our stop up on the hourly chart just to protect our profits, or at least limit losses in that. So if that gets taken out, it gets taken out. But man, the next time we get a shot up, I think we're possibly can blow this out, because that sure looks like a change in polarity to me. But I'm not going to wait around and take a big hit for it. I'll just be out and get back in again if that's the way it wants to play. TLT for fun, yeah, it's bouncing. Although I think it's in for back and forth action too. I don't think we're just going to get another blowout like the one that we got here. Markets just don't usually move that way. I won't say never. GLD for gold. We did not get enough of a pullback to make me happy to get in, which is maybe perfect just so the thing can run away from me. I'll pull it back up here and see if I can't still nab some before it decides to take off. And silver. Okay, silver looks great. I don't need gold. I'll get into silver. All right, that's that. Let's look at, for fun, BITO here. So this is a Bitcoin strategy ETF. This is Coinbase, which is having futures on, or I'm sorry, earnings on 2/15. I don't know that I want to play earnings within 2 weeks, but yeah. And then ARKB is the new exchange traded fund for Bitcoin. It's just not active enough for me to want to play, so I'm not going to get into this. All right, that's enough for today for that. Let's go to stockcharts.com and the bullish percent indices or indexes, whatever you like. So the industrials rolled over today. The NYA was already in a column of O's and went down 2.83%. The transports tacked on 3 new O's today, down almost 8%. The NASDAQ minus 1.52%, still in a column of O's. The S&P 500 tacked on a new O today. That just happens to be the marker for February, since February started, and it tacked on an O. It puts a 2 right there. Minus 2.97%. The OEX tacked on 2 new O's today. Same thing. It's a marker for February plus another O. Minus 4.48%. And the NDX tacked on a new O. Minus 2.63%. So that's going to lead to, I mean, that adds to my thesis for basically sideways or potentially still down action in the markets for the near term. If we look here and we go back to the S&P, this could be a lower high, or we could put in maybe a shooting star right here and keep it without a closing high. It could basically put in a lower high, and then we could just walk a little bit down from there in a, maybe all the way down to this midpoint, but it'll just be enough to thrash around and make everybody crazy. Maybe the next time the stochastics is actually buried in the lower reversal zone will be an actionable place to be, especially if our MACD is agreeing at the time. If you notice here, like today, when the MACD was buried and the stochastics was buried, that is a better signal for at least the next few bars. So you really can't act on much. You could, well, those didn't even line up in the last month here, or a couple 3 weeks anyway. Back here, you can see they lined up, and that was a great opportunity to go long. We haven't really had anything pairing up like that since that happened, and that was the beginning of November. And by the way, if you want to, we can look at it on the Russell. Did the same kind of a thing beginning of November. The Dow, not on the same day, but pretty much the same, 11.1 and 11.2. That goes to show you that the beginning of the month is a big deal, just like I was talking about last night. The NASDAQ, that's 11.1 and 11.2 as well. So that's what I got for the night, guys. I'm glad it's almost Friday. We will catch you again on a weekend review. That'll either probably be Friday or Saturday. So until then, take care, good trading, and have a great night.